Dear friends, in our last session we had a complete understanding of India enterprise architecture, which helped us to know about implementation of end-to-end digitalization of government services. However, this is not possible in case there are no standards that will help us to create interoperable systems. Therefore, in this session 13 we would talk about digital service standard and how they intend to make our life easier. In this we would not just understand what is DSS, but before doing that we would understand the difference between electronic services and digital services. Then we would move on to understand the complete life cycle of digital service standard and definitions. Before that, it is equally important for us to understand why we are doing all this, and all this is being done for UX and UI. So, we start with understanding what is UX and UI. So, UX is actually an abbreviation for digital experiences or user experiences. UX design is the process of enhancing customer satisfaction, in our case citizen satisfaction, by improving usability and pleasure in digital interactions. While doing all this, we should not forget that the functionality of the system is retained. Therefore, UX captures usability, pleasure and functionality together so that customer needs or citizens needs are completely satisfied. It is user experience that will assure that the citizen comes back to us again and again to use that platform or that system. User interface. User interface, as the name indicates, is all about the channels available for the user to interact with the system, to navigate with the system and to have a feel of the system. UI is how we abbreviate it. So, UI is all about look and feel of the digital service, and it satisfies the technical process of translating the requirements of UX into interfaces and navigation. So, UX is actually the most important digital requirement of the service and is insisting on always having a system that is useful, which is converting some economic, personal or social advantage out of the system. Usable in terms of efficiency, efficacy and convenience. It is findable, that means the user does not have to scout for where to look for the system. It also insists on therefore omni-channel, and the URLs or the availability should be widely known and disseminated to the end user. UX is also about creating systems that are accurate, trustworthy and secure so that the user comes back to this system again and again. They should also be desirable, that means the image, the aesthetics, the brand value of the system should be completely understandable. They should be accessible, also available to people who are in outliers or disabled or in remote areas, and valuable so that user is more comfortable on the system rather than being online or manual. Once the content and the design and the development and deployment of the system, that is UX, is perfect, we should not ignore that looks matter. So, to have a UI which is friendly, we need to have 7 attributes. The system should have a clear and concise navigation possibility. System should not be too vocal or too summarized and crisp so that it does not convey what it is meant for. It should be responsive. One click means I reach my system without the need of navigating through the menus. User guidance, online help should be there. It should be uniform and consistent throughout. It should be attractive. It should be efficient, minimum clicks as I said. And it should permit the user to make mistakes, it should be forgiving. So, 7 attributes of UI, if I have to sum up again, is clear, concise, responsive, consistent, attractive, efficient and forgiving. Therefore, before I proceed ahead, because we are at the fag end of our sessions, I must summarize with you what is digital transformation in general as well as in governance. So, digital transformation, if you would recall, consists of design approach, which is enhancing a UI and UX by co-creating so that the service, either governance or related or otherwise, is totally personalized and contextualized. It is all about systems approach, which ensures that there is end-to-end digitalization of services, a smooth transition without any silos or breaks. for which we are using India Enterprise Architecture in Governance. It should be totally interoperable because India cannot function if systems cannot talk to each other, India with E. So, for that we have Digital Service Standard DSS, which will ensure interoperability. We should also ensure in this kind of digital transformation, the system should be constantly responsive to the changing requirements outside and inside both. And while doing all this, the nugget, the defining edge of digital transformation, the people themselves should be agile, responsive and accepting to the new technologies. Remember in the last session we had talked about a schematic representation of BRM business reference model. This is most important model while doing India or DSS. Now BRM is actually starting from the goal. This goal, as I told you in the last session, in governance is defined by SDGs. So this governance goal would be broken down into objectives. Objectives would be reflected in our programs, projects and schemes. Referring to various sectors or verticals, each of the sectors that we would be talking about would be eventually having implementation departments, and each department would undertake services to fulfill this particular objective to meet the goal. It is at this department and service level that we would implement DSS, Digital Service Standard. So, Digital Service Standard before being implemented breaks down services in 4 aspects. These 4 aspects start from defining a service, then transforming a service using technologies or re-engineering or change management principles, ensure UI through service delivery aspect, and finally no service is complete in case we do not measure that service. This service which I talked about, when we are converting it to a digital transformed avatar, is now becoming digital service and it stops being electronic service. Yes, there is a difference between these two. In electronic service, the maturity is only automation in terms of a particular aspect of the service which is automated and rest of it could be still manual. Whereas, as I have been saying throughout, in digital service it is E to E, end to end. Second, in terms of its delivery channels, in electronic service we only resort to portals. However, if it is a digital service, as I talked about in UI, it is multi-channel or omni-channel. With regard to experiences, it is like generic and common to all in electronic, but in digital services it is totally personalized, contextualized and some kind of predictive in nature, where we are using AI and ML algorithms to predict what will user expect. It is like typing something and then you get the choices you want, because the service is totally digital in nature, driven by AI and ML algos. Then there are technical differences between electronic services and digital services. The electronic service model was SOA, service oriented architecture. We will talk more about this in the class. And in digital service, we have open API architecture, which is microservice architecture, totally enabled through a layer of foundation and API which dig into it. We have technologies which is not just internet, obviously, because omni-channel. So, we will be resorting to SMAC. Recall, SMAC is social, mobile, analytics, cloud and IoT based. Scalability is infinite in digital service, goes without saying, and interoperability is by default because of the topic we are doing today, digital service standard. And development method is also very agile, using technology or aspect of DevOps in digital service, whereas we used to use waterfall method in design of electronic services. So, coming to the core of our topic today, what is digital service? We have explained, but what is digital service life cycle? How is it created? Dr. J. Satyanarayan with his complete team defined digital service life cycle in 3 steps. Define, realize and measure. This 3-step model is all about, in first phase, defining the service properly, classifying it and prioritizing it. Realizing is all about designing, development and implementation or delivery of the service. measuring. The crux of this cycle is all about measurement, assessment and management of DSS. These three-step process will ensure delivery of end-to-end service without any departments, categorizations or demarcations. So, there are 3 stages and 9 steps in digital service life cycle. And as I already said, the basic first step is all about classification, so that the need of the service is completely connected to the need of the citizen or the consumer, and service provider tries to look at these needs and demands of this user. In realization, it is all about collection of user requirements in terms of specific categorization like entity relation diagrams or many other tools like SRS, etc. Then we come to the basic understanding of collating these services so that UI and UX are properly identified and the delivery channels are recognized in this step. The last step, my favorite one, where I was assisting Dr. J. Satyanarayan, was measurement, and it stays not because I was handling it, but actually the most important step. Why? Because it is this step which would give us the complete toolkit comprising of techniques and other measurement strategies, so that the assessment of in between steps and of the last 2 steps actually, and measurement of the final output and outcome of the digital service can be looked into. The working group which I mentioned, where I was fortunate enough to be part and of the process, there were many other experts, was headed and chaired by Dr. J. Satyanarayan for Government of India through STQC of METI, which was trying to look into design of DSS, and this was somewhere in 2017 March. November 2017 to March 2018. India is not the first one. UK, Australia, USA have also come up with their service standard specifications or principles, as they choose to call it. I think even Canada has very rich legacy of this. Now, at the closing point of our discussion, let me share with you, DSS is not a cakewalk. There are several challenges in terms of how to ensure user centricity or user experiences to be ensured, how legacy is to be looked into, capacities, legal, system inertia and security aspects. There are solutions to each of them, but the biggest solution, we would talk about these solutions in the class, but the biggest outcome or solution which I feel is creation of strategic implementation groups in terms of a PMU or in terms of a SPV, which will ensure consistent delivery of digital service standards. That is where we close our session, and this was basically to give you a look into what is India moving towards and what a good service transformation should be in terms of digital transformation of the entire system. However, its implementation in true sense we will do in our next session, session 14, which is going to give us an insight into a national health stack for public health. Till then, thank you. Jai Hind.